I know I'm starting on a menu in zombies mode, but there's a reason, okay? We are going to go over what I personally think is probably going to be both mine and my friend's best bets for doing this shit. So this is going to be a very short, very brief guide of stuff that we're going to need, in my personal opinion, okay? Now, 2 of these weapons are going to be pretty much a must. But the LMG section is going to have like a little tiff with it, because if you don't have one, you have the other. I know you do. It's base game. Okay? So the first thing you're going to want is this bad boy here, because you'll note it has 34 per headshot with the way I have it set. Okay? You're going to want the thermal. If you don't do the thermal, you're at least, for long distances, going to want something that has a 2x scope, like the Jason Armory. Okay? It's basically an ACOG. But I prefer the thermal. We're not going to worry about your cosmetics, we're just getting to statistics. Reinforced barrel, suppressor. You're going to want a standard launcher. It's worth the slight dip in accuracy so that you can handle crowds. Do not waste the shots. You only get 3 of them at a time. You're going to want the biggest mag you can get, which is extended mag 3. You're going to want the ergonomic grip. You're going to want the balance stock, and you're going to want FMJs. Mainly because... Oh, hang on. Wrong button. You'll denote that this thing is fairly easy to keep on handle. You don't need to switch it back and forth between auto and single, because as long as your controller doesn't brrr, brrr on you, like mine tends to do, because, you know, I'm rough, you can stay fairly accurate and hit your targets from a long distance. But if you simply must... Hang on, let me get him back up here. You'll denote that as long as you stay generally on target, you can switch from one to the other. And if all else fails, if you get near a large crowd... Okay. The next one we're going to want to do... Hang on. Boop, 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 boop. Let's go over here to LMGs. You're going to want the XMG. This one technically has a higher per head hit, but this one has more bullets. You're going to want the XMG if you do not have the Fang. Okay? And you're going to want it like this. Alright? I hope you have the buffer weight stock. If you do not, substitute in the balanced. Okay? But buffer weight is better because it controls recoil. Oh, come on. Quit misbehaving. See? Your ADS is slower and your aim movement is slower, but your recoil is a hell of a lot better. And if you notice with the balanced, you've got aim walking movement speed, an increase to movement speed, an increase to hipfire movement speed, and strafing movement speed, but you take a dip to accuracy from the buffer weight. You're obviously going to want the biggest mag you can get for that 200 rounds. Okay, but if you're not worried about having 200 rounds right out the gate, and you have it, I suggest getting yourself the Fang and getting the attachments I have here for this specific reason. It's very accurate, headshots are insanely good, and yes, it has a slower fire rate, but not by a lot, and the reload is not nearly as bad. Hang on, and I'll show you that's not just opinion. Okay? Here's reloading it with one shot out of air. I know it's never going to be just one shot, but it's the same reload anywhere on your magazine as long as it's not empty. And now we're going to empty it. And you'll notice it's quite a bit slower. Doesn't seem like by much, but all the difference. Whereas with this, it's slower shooting. Hang on, let me see if I can get that to come back down and not be as fucked up. Okay, there we go. And you'll notice I'm personally trying to keep it pretty stable. It's less rounds, but they hit harder. And you'll note the spread isn't nearly as bad. What a lot of people like to use, because you can get it on the map for Tomb, is this guy. And if you do, you're going to want these parts. Okay? Pause if you need to. Get a screenshot. I don't like it because it hits lighter, however you want to say that. But here's the thing. If you'll denote, that fucker has 175 in it. And it does this. Hang on. Pretty accurate for an LMG, the way that I've got it built, so... The only thing people complain about half the time is they're like, oh, I don't like fucking thermal sights, but here's the thing, it's going to make it a lot easier to see on a dark map. If you simply must be a weirdo, the last thing I suggest, if you want to be the weirdest motherfucker in the group, and you're handling nothing but crowd control, there are two settings for this one gun that I suggest. Either you do this with the Dragon's Breath, okay, and this is for zombies. And then you can, and if you'll notice, yeah, it took a couple, but you can just in the chest or in the head. It will do more to zombies instead of the targets, but, you know. The only problem with this is, one, that happens. And two, you notice a tiny problem. I'm having to pay shots, and that means your DPS is going to be slower. Plus, at a certain range, unless you are, like, crazy fucking good, or you're basically playing on mouse and keyboard where you can just point and click, your likelihood of being able to spam and hit goes way the fuck down. Okay? So unless you're basically like COD God, don't do that. There is one thing that will slightly help. And this is the other setting I was talking about. Hang on, I gotta take the laser off and beep, 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 beep. This will increase your damage range by a lot and increase your damage per shot by a lot. I mean, yes, you're going to have recoil, but you'll note I'm shooting less and doing that damage from much further away. Okay? So if you're specifically trying to do boss DPS, It's pretty nice. Okay? But again, you only have 20 rounds, 40 if it's pack-a-punched. So be very, very careful with your shots. Because if you miss, you'll denote... Uh-huh. See? It takes more rounds. So, for the starting players, or people that haven't played in a long time, I strongly suggest this will do hickey right here. Again, okay. And again, if all else fails with the crowd. Okie dokie. That's that part covered. Now we get to this part. You're going to want either the knife, if you have it, the cleaver. They both, when they're upgraded and you have melee macchiato or one hit shots for a very long time. Okay? And if you don't believe me, hang on. Well, it doesn't have stats. That's annoying. That's very annoying. They did in Cold War. You're just gonna have to take my word for it because I don't think there's a guns or firing range for... Yeah. No, there's no firing range for melees. But just through testing, okay? Field upgrade, again, other people will tell you other ones, but you're going to want Ether Shroud. And we'll get to the augments here in a minute. You're going to want decoys. Because again, Casimirs and monkeys are nice, but they're very expensive and very rare to find. Decoys you can make for fucking, I think it's $250 a pop. And you will eventually have the salvage. But it's not going to be as much of a problem, again, once we get to augments. You're going to want Blast Trap because it's a very large explosion, and it explodes automatically when enemies come near it. You can only carry 3 at a time, but still. As long as you pace them, that's all you're going to need. Gobblegums. Unfortunately, you're either going to need to grind like a son of a bitch or get a Master Pack. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. You're going to want something like this set up right here. And you're going to want Perkaholic because it gives you all the perks. You're going to want Hidden Power because it upgrades your weapon that you come in with out of any of the 4 we talked about, or 5 if you just get the GMPG-7 off the wall and you're lazy. Please don't be lazy. Wonder Bar, so you have a chance at getting the staff out of the box. Maybe. You're probably going to get a ray gun. Okay? Phoenix up because it revives all teammates no matter where the fuck they are, as long as you don't go down while you're hitting the button. Okay? Or it's not during the fucking trial for the golden armor, which is stupid. Situational bullshit. Okay? Skip. Anywho, and they get to keep all of their perks. Now, a lot of people want to fucking argue, oh, near-death experience, all you gotta do is be near them. And it will automatically res anybody near you, and it will automatically res you if it's already running. Okay? Revived players will keep all their perks, but the problem is you have to be near them. If somehow you do not have either one of these, have a nowhere but there, okay? It instantly teleports you to a random down player, and it instantly revives all nearby players. If you do it quick enough, I don't know if this is going to be patched, but currently, as the moment of this video, if you do it quick enough, they will not lose their perks. And when you teleport, what it doesn't say is it releases a shockwave that kills all nearby zombies. Or, well, regular zombies, not specials and shit, but it will damage the other ones. A little bit. Okay? If somehow, for some reason, you do not have any of the three, if you don't have Near Death, you don't have Phoenix, and you don't have Nowhere But There, first off, for your Legendary slot out of these two, you're gonna want fucking either, well, really just Idolize is really good. I would say Timeout, but it doesn't do shit during story mode. So unless you're on directed mode grinding camos, forget it. Like, and you need a break for some reason in directed mode, and you don't just pause and for a second. Forget it. Okay? Raindrops is another one to slide in, because, you know, nukes, insta-kill, fucking double score, like, a bunch of shit. Alright? Somehow you don't have that. Get it on the house. Okay? Again, if you don't have a master pack, grind the shit out. It will take longer, but you will eventually get there. Alright? Like I said, last slot needs to be Nowhere But There. That needs to be somewhere on your fucking lineup. You'll note, I don't have 3 of these currently because I used them on the last run. Okay? But that problem will be fixed before we try again. That's your gobbles covered. Now we're going to go to your augments. Okay? Now hopefully they're updated from the last time I did the shit. Stamina up, you're going to want Free Faller, become immune to fall damage, and Hot Foot, get a speed boost after equipment kills an enemy. Quick Revive, you're going to want EMT and Karmic Return, so that reviving an ally keeps all their perks on their bleed out bar, so that they at least have some. And Karmic Return, reviving an ally, heals you to full health. Okay, so you have less of a chance of fucking immediately fucking dying while you're being surrounded. Fucking, if you, for some reason, res them and don't have invis. Juggernog, you're going to want Probiotic for increased health, so that you go up to 300. You can take more hints. It does not take a Genius. If for some reason you don't want that, use Reactive Armor, ignore Turtle Shell. The second one needs to be Hardened Plate so that armor plates have more damage mitigation. You can take more hits while you have armor. Okay? I don't know if that will help during the trial. It didn't seem to, because you only have 1 fucking health when you're doing the trial for the golden plates. Don't do the golden plates. I'm going to say that ahead of time. I don't care what the other guides say. Don't do the golden plates. Anyways, moving on. Melee Macchiato, it replaces your weapon gun butt with the Deadly Punch or whatever the fuck it decides, like open palm, blah, 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 blah. You're going to want Triple Shot so you can hit multiple enemies at once, and you're going to want Strength Training so your punch can hit kill normal enemies for more rounds. Okay? It also increases your melee damage for your dedicated melee if you're a psychopath. Voltrade, you're going to want Parting Gift so that you get more ammo for your wonder weapons. You know, like the staff. And then you're going to want Picky Eaters so that you have a higher chance of dropping your current equipment as long as you don't pick up something else. It will drop more of the thing that you're currently using. It's a higher chance. It does not guarantee. I'm going to put that asterisk there. Chance. Okay. Speed Cola. Reload speed is even faster. You're going to want that classic formula. You're also going to want Speedy Roulette, so that when you're trying to hit the box for that ice staff, it spins quicker. So you don't die. PhD Flopper. You're going to want Dr. Ram, so that when you're tack sprinting, don't be crazy with this. Just use it sparingly. It will knock down zombies like you're tackling into them, and you get to keep running. It does not work on specials and elites. Don't do it. You're also going to want Tribologist. Sliding distance and speed are increased so that you can get the fuck out of dodge even quicker. Depth perception. You're going to want Treasure Hunter. Spot items others can miss from loot containers, as well as special and elite kills. Just more loot. Extra change. Find extra essence under more locations. Fucking adoy. Okay? Pay the fuck attention. Alright? Jingle jangle. Don't lose me now, because we're almost there. Alright? We got 2 more categories to get through, and we'll be good. Next one. Deadshot Daiquiri. Deadhead. Further increased critical damage. Do I really have to explain? Hit your headshots. Do more damage. Dead Break. Increased damage to armor pieces to more quickly kill things like mangoes and armored zombies a lot faster. Okay? Necesito. Elemental Pop. Once again, please for the love of God follow the instructions and don't argue with me. Citrus Focus. It basically makes it, in short terms, so that it only uses the ammo mod you put on your gun. If you do not have an ammo mod on your gun, it will still fire random shit, but if you do, it will only fire the one you have. Chillberry. It quote-unquote slightly reduces the cooldown. It's actually a lot faster, as long as your RNG is good. But having your ammo mod fire off more often without needing a fucking gobblegum for it is great. Deadwire. Again, I know other people are going to tell you that you need to stun elites, blah blah blah, big game. No. On the new map, you're going to want fucking Lightning Strike because it AoE stuns everything but elites. Okay? An extension, so that stun and the electric field last a lot longer. If you're going to use Napalm Burst, you're going to want Firebomb and Incendiary so that it spreads to enemies and it does more damage. Okay? And every time it does more damage by spreading, it has a small chance to spread to nearby enemies, meaning it spreads quicker. So essentially, if you get lucky, one big giant explosion, there goes a crowd. Cryo Freeze. If you're going to use Cryo Freeze, have Ice Cloud and Liquid Nitrogen so that it creates a field that freezes enemies and slows them, and Liquid Nitrogen so that it shows up more often. Pairs very nicely with Elemental Pop the way we have it set up. Brain Rot. If for some odd reason you want fucking Brain Rot, I suggest Pheromone so that it attracts all nearby normal and specials for a short time. Note that that's normals and specials. Okay. And Explosive so that charmed enemies that aren't specials explode at the end of Brain Rot's duration, dealing toxic damage to all nearby enemies. It's basically a free monkey bomb. Okay. Shadow Rift. You're going to want Big Game so that it activates on elite enemies, and you're going to want Targeted so that those enemies will fall on other enemies. So basically everything you point at with Shadow Rift will fucking teleport, except for, like, you know, the obvious bosses. Don't be stupid. Okay? Lightmend. And I really suggest one of you fucking uses Lightmend. Please be nice, be the healer. Okay? You need a healer. Dual action. Consuming a healing glyph will temporarily allow you to heal faster. It's basically like Quick Revive on steroids. Especially if you have that too. Alright? Express Remedy. Increase the range that the glyph will move to an ally. You can be really, well, a good distance for this. Essentially, if you've paid attention to my previous streams, if you're on the roof in the middle of Liberty, the bank, you can be anywhere in front of that spawn where the mango comes out, or mangler if you're going to be picky. Anywhere from there to almost halfway past the two fucking skylights, it will fucking zoom to you and heal. So as long as you're within reasonable sight distance of the healing glyph, it will come to you if you need healing. Do not constantly revive on it, you will go down. I mean, rely on it. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean. Stick with me. Alright, last category. The only one I really suggest is Ether Shroud, but we're gonna go through all of them. Alright? You're gonna want either Scatter or Carousel. Okay? But I prefer Scatter. Because Scatter will split them into mines, and they detonate 2 times each. And Frequency Boost increase the duration and detonation count of Energy Mine, meaning it now explodes 3 times. Okay? Overall, I think. But still, a lot. Frenzied, you're gonna want Falnax so that enemies can also repair armor from kills while near you while it's running. And Rally, on activation, repair all nearby enemy allies' armor to full. Okay? So you're basically constantly healing fucking armor. Tesla Storm, if you're gonna run Tesla Storm, you're gonna want Static Discharge so that on activation it creates a lethal surge of electricity around you. It will kill all the small guys. It will damage the bigger ones. And Power Grid, the range for that tether is a lot further. Dark Flare, if you must, you're gonna want Dark Pact because it heals and revives other players on contact, and Broad Beam so it increases the size of the beam so it's harder to miss. Okay? If you want to do Healing Aura, you're gonna want Resilience so all affected players have their health regen delay reduced and their rate of healing increased temporarily. So you heal quicker. And Inner Strength, affected player damage is slightly increased, so it's still kind of a buff. And most importantly, I really suggest using Ether Shroud over anything else. Okay? You're gonna want Group Shroud so that other people near you are fucking clouded in that same cloak. And Extra Charge so that you can have up to 2 charges, but let's be realistic, that 1 charge recharges a lot quicker. Okay? So that's all of that covered. And what I need you to do is use those setups. You can use any of the selections that I showed you. Please do not wander off to other shit and be a fucking weirdo. If you must use the ray gun, use it on the small guys, not the bosses, because the explosion damage is not as good on them on this map. Okay? Use a bullet weapon. Alright? If you are not running fucking Deadwire, run Healing. If you're not running either of those, run Napalm. Alright? Try not to be a weirdo and do the other ones. If you must, use the settings I said. Okay? But basically, to stupid-proof it, you want your setup to look like that. Okay? Good luck. Look up Raffle Waffle's guide to fucking completing the thing. He's probably the best one. I'm not paid to say that. Okay? Once we fucking eventually beat the thing and we're filming, you can watch our shit for the guide. It'll be funnier, but his is probably better and more succinct. Okay? He clips it down to like 19 minutes or some shit. I will see you in the next one. I hope you had a good time. Bye-bye.